Isn't it gorgeous?
Last season, we really struggled.
And this guy here is just jam-packed filled with peppers.
Please don't imagine that we have all the answers because we don't.
So I think there's no going back.
Hello, salsa lovers. Brittany, Gabriel, and Tex here. So excited that we get to showcase our garden to you and all the work we do that goes into it.
We'll share how we care for our peppers, how we source them, including some very special peppers we've had given to us as gifts for years now. And finally, very exciting, we're going to harvest our first pepper with you.
So right now we have roughly about 70, 75 pots, and that number keeps going simply because we just keep buying plants. You can see a section of it down here. We have some in the middle section along with some personal plants like some tomatoes, some cucumbers for ourselves. But we also have a whole other section with a bunch of other different types of peppers.
So one thing that's made a big difference for us this year is using compost. Luckily, we have a dairy farm down the street, Smith Country Farm, and they have amazing compost. And so you'll see we've planted this lovely serrano in compost, and then we've been really intentional to put enough mulch for all of the moisture to stay in here, paired really nicely with the drip irrigation system. So I think there's no going back.
One of the things that has been life-changing for our operation was installing our drip irrigation system. So the drip irrigation system, first of all, makes the watering so much more consistent, and we can sort of stay away from the blossom end rot. The second thing that it does is it frees up our time. As you can imagine, with this many pots, last season we really struggled with being out here for hours on end just trying to make sure that our plants were watered. So you can see here we have 3/4 inch tubing that's coming from our source, our water source, and we have that 3/4 inch tubing down to 1/2 inch tubing that is connected to each section. So we have our section over here. We also have it connected to our garden beds here. This is where we have some of our own personal plants like tomatoes, marigolds. We have some cucumbers I'm really excited about, so we can pickle them, have them with some burgers, some of our salsa. But we also have all the tubing connected to each one of these plants. So every single one of our 75 plus plants are getting consistent watering, which I'm super excited about.
One of the other things we've been doing is fertilizing regularly, every 2 weeks or so. And we are using two different kinds of fertilizer depending on where the plant is in its development. So you can see here with this spicy Jane pepper, we've transitioned from fertilizer to feed the leaves to now it is full of fruit. So we are using a fruit-specific fertilizer. And this guy here is just jam-packed filled with peppers.
Obviously, one of the things I'm sure you all have noticed is that we have shade cloth. So I believe this is 40% shade cloth. And the reason for it is last season, we noticed that in the dead of summer, where the temperatures are high, and because of where we have our garden, our plants start getting sun at like 6 or 7 a.m. And we noticed that our plants started to get some of the sun scald, especially some of the tomatoes, some of the peppers. And so we decided to install this and see how it goes. And so far it's working beautifully. Up at the top, we have the carabiners that are attached to the shade cloth. And you'll also notice that we added some paracord, basically in an X fashion, going diagonally from end to end. And what that allows the shade cloth to do is basically stay up. I'm a little on the taller side, and so when I'm going in and out of our rows, you know, it messes up my hair. And I don't really like that. I have pretty hair. I've been working on my hair. We had several bags of cement and several buckets that we wanted to reuse. We dug holes, we put the cement into the bucket, dropped the bucket of cement into the ground with the 2x4 so that it supports. And this was a learning process too. Please don't imagine that we have all the answers, because we don't. We actually set this up initially above ground, and with the slightest wind, they were tipping over. some of these plants are like hip high. They were going to get damaged. And so we quickly got out here and remedied that. But that's the whole reason behind the shade cloth.
For those of you who've been with us a while, you might remember we had a setback early on where aphids attacked all of our baby peppers. Luckily, we hugely overplanted, and so we had some backups, and we've found some other really nice local sources. Anne at the Perennial Patch here in Winchendon has a huge variety of peppers, and they've turned out very healthy. And we've kept an eye out open every market we've been to for different pepper plants in the area. So between what we were able to save and what we've been able to find, we've got a huge variety. I also have a couple of really sentimental plants like this one that was given to me 3 years ago by a former student. It's moved with me here from Colorado, and it overwinters in our basement. And so luckily, some of these peppers that we've kept with us, some of them we've had 5 or 6 years, have made it through the winter here in New England, and we're learning how to better support them and get them started even earlier next year.
One of the other things we've done to support our plants is making sure they have the structure, because it gets windy out here, especially because of the layout of our land. There's this sort of updraft where it can really do a number on the plants, especially as they start to get fruits. So you can see that we have stake posts on either end of this row, and then we have some twine going from one end to the other. And all we've done, if you want to look at videos, is essentially the Florida weave, I believe is one of the names out there. But we just weave the twine in and out of each plant. And you can see that right now we have 2 levels on this row, one at the bottom, one a little higher. And each plant gets its own stake that is secured to it.
One thing we're really excited about is the huge variety of plants we have this year. We have about 15 different varieties. Some of the standard ones like serranos and jalapenos. We also have some new ones this year that we've never grown before. A ton of Carolina Reaper. We have some called Dragon's Breath and Seven Pot and Spicy Jane and Cherry Bomb. There's at least 6 that I've never eaten myself that I look forward to. We promised you would join us as we harvested our first pepper, and the moment is here. This is one of the new plants that we've never grown before. We've never eaten either, so huge prolific grower. We're really hoping we enjoy it because it's growing great. This one is a cherry bomb. You'll see that gorgeous red pepper there in the middle, just waiting for us to harvest, and the moment is here. I don't want to get anybody else involved. There it is. Oh, wow. So look at that gorgeous red pepper. We'll report back on how we eat it and how it goes. Isn't it gorgeous?
Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. It's a tremendous amount of work, but we're finding that it's work worth doing. It allows us a chance to connect with you, and we love it.
Come see us at an upcoming market and let us know what your thoughts are on our setup. We'd love to hear how you're growing your own peppers. Come see us.